Hello there, Flosstube. My name is Deb. I am the Traveling Stocking Stitcher. Why do I say hello there, you might ask? Because today's theme, and I always have one, today's theme are angels. So today we are going to have instead of a parade, we're going to have a flyby. Angels, basically fancy ladies with wings. They've got the pretty dresses, they've got the flowing hair, they've got beads, they've got shiny metallic stuff in them. So all of the fun of fancy ladies, but they're also angelic. So normally I have some sort of accoutrement. I thought about getting a halo or some wings or something like that, but then I realized I'm no angel. So this is what you got. We're just gonna wing it today. Alright, that's probably the end of the puns. So, question I have for you, how many angels fit on the end of a cross-stitch needle or into a floss tube about cross-stitch? And the answer is more than one. We gotta have more than one floss tube to cover it all. Because this is not gonna be just wall-to-wall angels. We're gonna have other stuff. I've got some finished objects, some travel-related finished objects. I have a whip that will be absolutely surprising to you. It was surprising to me. I can't believe that I'm doing it because it doesn't seem my style, but you will be surprised, I think. And then I've got a bunch of other stuff. I've got some really cool haul, and I've got some thank yous and stitchy kindness and shout outs. So let's get going. So on our way with angels. Let's start out with a group of stockings. These are one of the first things that I did when I started stitching during the pandemic. One of the first things I did. And this is a series. There's a set of them. This is blue, number 1 in the Angel Stocking series. This is from Cat and Mouse Designs. And I don't know, I wasn't paying a lot of attention when I started stitching again, because I guess you just stitch on whatever you have, and I must have happened into a bolt of 16 Aida because suddenly I stitched everything on 16 Aida. Normally my go-to for stockings is 14 count. It's sturdy, so it can handle stockings and support being hung. And it also is big enough to make a normal stocking size kind of thing. But these, I guess I wasn't paying attention. I pay attention now, like that's the first thing I do is I think about what size frame am I going to fit this in? What gauge do I have to use to get it to the frame size that I want to fit it into? But clearly not paying attention, because these guys are stubby. You can't even tell. These are, not only are they little, but they're also stubby. There's no name across the top or anything like that. So once I realized what size they were going to be, I had to do some little creative stuff. And actually, kind of a blessing in disguise, because they're angels, it made me think about how I can alter stuff and never look back. So here is the first one up. This is, I named her Gloria. And you'll see that the thing stops right above kind of that diamond above her head. So I thought, what if I just flip that? Oops, probably easier to see on here. What if I just flipped it? Normally it stopped right about here, so I just tipped it over and inverted it and put it across here and then left a space for the name. And then I stuck a few, little snowflakes here and there, and there she is. Get in real close. Little bit of gold. Not a ton of Krynic on her. But one thing I did use, and I don't know if it's even distinguishable, is I used the satin, the B5200 DMC satin, to do, I think I might have just done the trim. I don't know that I did the lettering. Yeah, I did the lettering in that. And I guess I did, again, you can't tell. It's a little tricky to work with. You want to use real short lengths, and you got to keep untangling it because you want it to lie real flat, and it's hard to get it to lie real flat. So it was kind of putsy, but yeah, it was an experience. So there she is, and she's got these little kind of morning glory sleeves. They all have a little bit different dresses and different colors. So that is Gloria. The back is kind of that's not really showing real true. It's really kind of the same aqua color here, which you can sort of see from this edge here. So there she is. Next one I did is Belle. Or I named her Belle. They didn't name her Belle. But she has a yellow dress, and I figured Belle might be appropriate. Got a wrinkle going on there. No? Oh, it's just the lighting, I guess. I named Belle because she's wearing a yellow dress, and Belle is a Christmassy kind of name. Belle without an L, maybe. Well, that is really weird. It doesn't look like it's wrinkled when I look at it, but it looks like it's wrinkled there. Alright, and so purple on the back and golden purple. Now, unfortunately, again, and this is before I got real exciting, adventurous with changing colors. If you're from Minnesota, this looks like a Minnesota Viking color van, which I could care less about football. And I can't look at it though now without thinking about the Vikings. So I might have used some other colors had I thought about it, but that's what it is. Next up, there's kind of a reddish one here, pinkish red. This is Magenta number 2 in the Angel series. And here she is. This one I named Holly. Oh, I was going to also mention, can't see it so well in this one. I'll show you in a minute. But anyway, here she is. And there's the magenta color felt on the back. And just to give you a size thing, size comparison, and this isn't even a good size comparison because this stocking is even a little smaller than most of my stockings. So you can see these guys are pretty tiny. Yeah. So there she is. And with Holly, you have Ivy. Holly, Ivy. There they are. So, and I tried to do a little different snowflake design on the top of each one. Oops, I can't get them both in the shot. There they are. So one thing that I also did, because I wanted it to be, the lettering to be kind of calligraphy looking, and you'll notice that these letters, like this trails off. Get real close here. This kind of trails off here, and I had to do that after the stitchings were done. So it was real interesting. I kind of reversed or negative space stitched. I don't know how I describe it. I kind of just stitched and left the space for the letters, and then I went in and filled the letters in afterwards, which was kind of interesting. I probably could have done the bulk of the letters that didn't require that and just kind of left parked a thread. But again, I wasn't watching Flosstube. I didn't know anything about parking threads. It's all new. So that pretty much covers the cat and mouse set that I did. Oh, the other thing. I was also not paying attention to the fact that they're facing the wrong way. All my other stockings pretty much face going that way, the foot's going that way. And had I had it to do over again, would have flipped them around. I have an Android phone. You just go into take the picture and go into your gallery. And go into editing, and there's a little button that says flip, and it just reverses the image for you. So that's a tip if you want to be doing that on your own. Next one I have is an old pattern, and I don't know what happened to the cover sheet. I swear I brought this down with my stuff, and I have the paperwork. I'll put a picture of it, what it looks like, because I have the charts, but I don't know what I did with the cover page. So this is called Renaissance Angel Stocking. It is from the Donna Vermillion Giampa, from the Vermillion Stitchery. I don't know that this is still in print or not. I don't think it is because it was a vintage one and there was only one left. So here is what it looks like. And I called her Grace. I'll try to get her all in the shot first. Right back here. So there she is. Now, again, not a huge or regular size stocking, because I ended up adding all of this up here. I found a design that there were 4 of these. It kind of made a box, and it was just the right length to fit up here. And I used some of that, I think I used that, like, what is it, 284 or 283Z DMC junk. And it's a little different. I think this I used the Light Effects, and it's slightly different gold. I guess I don't mind the two different golds. It sets it apart a little bit. But I put that on there just to stretch it out a little bit. I like it. It looks cool. I like it. Again, use short little strands of stuff. And here she is, very, very pretty, I think, angel swinging the censer. And what really drew me to it was this kind of medieval looking, or not, kind of a French, yeah, what's the word I'm looking for? Medieval? Sure. Looks like a French castle somewhere, even though it's got some palm trees and stuff over here. And this, again, fairly early on in my return to cross stitching, this is all full coverage. I did this on an 18 count. Again, had I done a 14 count, she'd probably be a normal size, but then I wouldn't have probably put this up on the top, which I kind of like. And so all of these things, it was a little tight on an 18 count with 2 strands, 2 over 1, to get those all in there. So this was a challenge. I might have been better off doing like 1 over 2, but then I might not have been thrilled with the coverage. So I don't know. I'm happy with her. I'll get close up on her. See all the blingy stuff on her. Okay. That's that. And let's see. Another one I don't have, I have a picture of, but I don't have the physical stocking because it belongs to my niece. I think what I'm going to do when it gets closer to Christmas time, I'll gather them all up from my family while they have them out for Christmas and do a floss tube and show you then, because otherwise right now all I can do is show you. Here's the cover sheet, and I'll put a picture up for it. This is a Janlynn number 125-220. I think it's out of print. It's called Poinsettia Angel Stocking. Poinsettia Angel Stocking. And it says it contains 28 count even weave fabric. Now I have no recollection, because I did this 20 some years ago when she just graduated from college, in the last year. So this is, going on 23 years now. And I don't recall ever stitching. I didn't know it existed. 28 count even weave, possibly. For some reason I seem to remember doing it on 18 count. This is big. Couldn't have been 18 count, because she has the bigger stocking out of everybody, so it ended up big. This says it's 11.5 by 18 inches, which would be a large stocking on 28 count. So who knows, maybe I did do it on 14, maybe I did it on 24. Also designed by Donna Vermillion Giampa, just like the last one I did. She's very pretty. You can see all this detail in here, and it had a lot of Krynic and gold stuff. And I would like to do this one again for my collection. I remember it being a lot of work, so we'll see when I decide I want to do that. So. Alright, so that kind of covers the stockings that I have done. I'm going to show you a few things that I have designs for. And again, some of these are older ones. This is called the Herald Angels. This is also by Donna Vermillion Giampa. Didn't know I liked her so much. Leisure Arts. And let me see if I can find a copyright. I'm sure this is pretty old too. This is 1994. But I thought it was cool. I haven't quite figured out what to do with, making a stocking out of it. I suppose I could cut out, one of the angels possibly and figure out some way to do that. But I like the border and that kind of thing too. So I don't know if I, how do you choose which angel you don't want to do? Next one I have, this is a Stoney Creek Classic collection called Angel of Hope. And I like the blue dress. I guess I didn't realize how much of a severe school marmy face that this one had. Because I don't know that I'm real thrilled with. She looks very stern. So, but again, I thought she would adapt well to a stocking because she's got that flow of the skirt thing going on. So maybe someday. And then one other that I picked up when I was going through my angel buying frenzy. This is 1935 angel. It's a Butterick. And not how much more than that. Here it is. And here it is. Again, pretty blue dress. And a little bit of curve. I could probably make a thing out of there. But doesn't she look like Sandra Oh? Anybody ever watch Grey's Anatomy or Killing Eve? She looks just like Sandra Oh to me. And then just a couple more that I have here. This is a book called, it's a leisure arts publication, The Stockings Were Hung. Ooh, there's some blur. The Stockings Were Hung. And on the cover here is a cherub. That counts. So that one is called Joy to the World inside here. It's got the cherub and it's got some music on there. And so some of these angels, you know, I like to create names, Christmas themed names. So musically ones, I was thinking of using Noel or Carol or something like that. Some of the other kinds of names, let's see, what else was I thinking about? Things like, I have them written down here somewhere. Oh, Angel, pretty obvious. Angelica or Angela, Evangeline, Rebecca. Some of these are, you know, biblically, peripherally related to the Christmas story. Anne, Mary of Mother of Mary, Gabriel. I look for a suitable male angel pattern, or Elizabeth, which is Mary's cousin, who is the mother of John the Baptist. So those are some of my options that I was thinking about for naming some of these angels. And then one of the others in this book, I don't know that I would do this one. This is the Herald Angel. I could call her Herald. And again, I'm not sure on the face. And maybe with some color changes, the dress might be okay. But probably not high on my list. And was that the only one? Yeah, probably the only one in that book that was angel related. Showed a couple of these before in a previous video, but just a reminder, Lavender and Lace has Angel of Spring, and that might make an interesting stocking. Again, Angel of Mercy, and that would work. And then Angel of Hope. So those are some of the angel patterns that I have. All of those are lavender and lace. And then another batch that I don't have the patterns for, I'll just kind of put them up here. But I like them, I love them, I want to do them, but they're pretty big, and I like to do things with stockings because I don't like to frame them. I'm not one to like put stuff up on my walls at Christmas and then take it down. So framing is kind of out of the question for me. So I'm open to suggestions. I would love to do stockings. Maybe I just do the square of these, but they're the Teresa Kogut Angels. And so, you know, like I said, maybe I just do the square. But I feel like there should be something on the toe or something like that. So I really like, let's see, where are they? Angelic Vision is probably my favorite one. A Work of Heart. She's got a beautiful background in the dress. Very, very pretty. Peacemaker I like as well. This one kind of reminds me, when we were in Lake Como, there was this plaque of an angel that kind of, these all kind of have that feel to me like that. There's also Oh My Soul, Rejoice, and Pray. So, you know, at least the top 3 or 4 of those I'd really like to do. And so, like I said, if you got ideas, if you got comments, something I haven't thought about, put them in the comments below. The only wrong answer is to do 1/1 on 40 count. So, and other than that, I'm open to suggestions. My last batch of angel-related things are things that I hesitated whether... Oh, I think I've got one that's legit. This one, I think, I bought, came out of a magazine. This might be a photocopy of it, but it's called Heavenly Music. And so this one, I think, like I said, did come out of a magazine. This is designed by Michelle Johnson, and this is one that would be a Noel or a Carol or something like that. And it's really not a great picture of it, but hopefully you can get a picture. If I can find a better picture, I'll insert it here. If not, you just saw a blank wall, or a wall with a bunch of books. Alright, so the ones that I'm a little on the fence that I'll ever do is, again, when I started stitching, again, and the wonderful world of Etsy opened up to me. It's like, oh, I could buy this pattern for $2.30 or something like that. Not realizing that they probably were things that, unless you go and research, you don't know that they were done from a Dimensions kit that is probably out of print, is probably $100 on the secondary market, so I could pay $100 to somebody on eBay and the money wouldn't go to the designer. But they're also stealing the design, so I see the hesitancy about it. But here's one called Angel Overlooking Nativity. And again, not a great picture because I printed it off on the printer. If I find a better picture, I will pop it up on the screen. Probably this one. Yeah, probably this one. So, pretty, but I don't think they had the rights to it. Another one that falls into that same vein is, I don't think I've even got a good picture of this one. I've just got the charts here. It's called Angelic Harmony Stocking. And when you once you get these in the thing, it's really when you, after you pay for them, you get them, you realize the format looks very similar. The way the thing looks, it's got a specific design, or the way but you don't know that going in, like I said, unless you do a lot of hunting, and they may not be the same name that they were done. But you get this page that shows the pattern name and the fabric and the stitch stuff. They all look like this. So that's your tip, but you don't know that until you buy it. And then I have a couple that were, I think Ruth Moorhead did some designs for probably Dimensions, and they have these cute little cherub angels, and I was going to be real clever and call one Cherry Bim and one called Seraphim. But Music from Heaven is one of them, and then one is called Angel Blossom. At least that's what they're called on here. So again, I will insert photos of what they look like in the real kit, but you may not see those actually. This is kind of your heads up if you see those on Etsy. Probably not real. So those kind of are my knockoffs. That is all the angel stuff we have for right now, I believe. And so now it is time to move on to my finishes. So what have I been doing since last we saw you? I had been working on the John Clayton series, and my first video I showed a bunch of these, and finally finished up Corsican Village. And this reminded me of Spain, and I thought about, it reminded me of the town of Ronda where they have all the white villages, and I thought about changing the colors to white, and I thought it's just going to look like a white blob. So I just left everything as is. This is what it looks like. Little wildflowers. Now the one thing I'm kind of hesitant about, back here so you can see the whole thing in one shot. One thing I'm hesitant, you see these kind of like white, they're supposed to be reeds or something coming out of here. There's some that are darker colored over on this side over here. Yeah, it's really hard to do this. This side here, the white ones just look like, I don't know, random stuff. So I think when I don't mind the darker ones. I might redo those because those just look like I dropped my dental floss on the thing or something. It just doesn't look right. So that probably will be changed. But that's going to go in a set someday. So, oh, well, this is a good thing to ask you guys about again too. I want to finish these off, and I talked about it. I was going to put, several of these in one thing. What I was going to do is take some fabric and put it over like a backing board to use as background, as a mat basically, and then put these on like a backer board and set them on top of the fabric. And YouTube saw something about Mod Podge or whatever it is, for decoupaging, and they talked about decoupaging fabric onto a piece of wood. And is this what I want to do? Do I want to do that instead of just like kind of laying it on there? It sounds like it would make it smoother and make it lie flat, and there's glossy and there's matte, and I'm not decoupaged, so anybody who knows about decoupaging, if this seems like any sort of a good idea, let me know. And I would just like to hear from somebody rather than watching a video of somebody trying to sell Mod Podge. So that's your homework assignment. And then another thing that I have been doing, I have done my first Emma Congdon from Stitchphobia, and she has a lot of travel related themed stuff. I've shown this as a whip in one of my other videos, but it is now done. And here it is. It's called City of Love. Get way back here. And I had it rolled up here. I haven't ironed it yet. And I just did it on 18 count white because, you know, I'm really not, I'm old school. And just like, I think about it in terms of if I were going to put this in a frame, I wouldn't choose some really mottled, exciting, wild matte to go around it. I would usually pick a white or a neutral. And I'm kind of that same school when it comes to let the design speak for itself. Now this is pretty much a full coverage, so it's not going to matter too much. I'll have a little bit of edging around it. But, you know, I can understand doing it for mermaids and stuff like that, where, you know, it's kind of in the sea and you got that thing going on. But sometimes I see things and it almost looks like the design gets lost in some of the modeling. So I know I'm boring, but this is what you got. So Florence, and, you know, the colors are amazing because, you know, I love the pastels. There's like 4 blues and there's 3 purples and there's 2 whites and 2 or 3 grays, and that's it. There's not a ton, and then there's some browns for the roofs and stuff. But pretty amazing that she can get this, and you learn so much about the shading. You know, I like the whole effect of the dome here with the different shades. I wish that the whites would have been a little darker because this light gray next to that white is barely perceptible. Same thing over here in the bell tower. Over here, there's some design here that you can't even see. I took it out and I did pink, and you still can't even see. But there was just a little thing on each corner that kind of made it a design. And so if you were to do it, I might suggest to you that you just titch up one of the whites in there to make it a little more distinct. Again, back here you've got some of this design back here, and I wish you could see that a little more clearly with the definition of things as well. But other than that, I really think it's cool. This is going to be part of my travel poster series. So I did it on 18 count. This is 10 by 10 square, the design itself, and then I decided to put the word Florence at the bottom. And again, I learned my shading from her, and also from the Guinness one that I did with the what kind of bird is it? Toucan? Yeah, for Ireland. And the lettering on that had, you know, a dark thing on this side, and then all the letters had a lighter color on the other side, and it just gives it a little extra dimension. So I just charted that up, and I knew how big or how wide the letters had to be to fit across, and do that. And then these guys here, they look like fleur-de-lis, which you associate with Paris, but it's also the symbol of Florence. So Florence is the city of flowers, and so these things, they're a little bit different than the French one. But what I did to make these is on the Lavender and Lace Conversion Facebook group, there's a woman who did this beautiful conversion. She's from Florence, and they have a festival. It's called La Festiva de Rivicolona, which celebrates the Nativity of Mary. And so she did one of the Celtic ladies in the traditional medieval dress style of Florence. And then she's holding a thing that has this design there. And so I looked at her picture and kind of said, oh, where is it darker, where is it lighter? And I knew that I wanted, you know, kind of following in line with the letters and how all of the stuff goes on up here, I wanted it to kind of do the same thing. So I kind of went in Stitch Fiddle and just kind of poked around and played around a little bit with shaping the thing and how I wanted to look. So I'm actually pretty pleased with how that turned out. So again, using just the same colors that are in the thing above. And then one other little addition that I did, I couldn't help myself. On the design there is a Vespa scooter right here. And we didn't go on any Vespa scooters, but they were cool, they were around. But I also wanted to include what we did do, and we went on a Segway tour. Now I can't emphasize enough, you need to go do a Segway tour. If you travel anywhere, it's the best way to get around. The concern is they stopped making Segways a couple of years ago, and so how long they're going to keep being available. But we started out in our own hometown. We went to Minneapolis and did it there and learned a lot about the town, and they're just so much fun. They're really cool. You can get around a lot fast in different places, and you're up higher a little bit. You don't have to worry about balance. I'm really good I've got my camera set up so I can just use voice command. So I'm, sitting there going capture, 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 capture as I'm riding along one-handed on my Segway. So I feel very, very comfortable on them. You're going like, 13 to 20 miles an hour or something like that. But it feels very comfortable, very, very sturdy. We've done this in a lot of places. So we did it in Minneapolis, we did it in St. Paul, learned a lot about our own places, and then we've done it in Washington, D.C. When we went to Florence, we took a day trip, so we didn't have that much time. We were staying in the town of Lucca in Tuscany. Took, I don't know, 45 minutes or an hour or something to get to Florence, so we didn't have a ton of time, so we took a 3-hour Segway tour. Usually the 3 hours is about the longest they have available, but I wouldn't go for anything less, because you want to, you spent the money to get to the place you're going to. Spend some extra money, you can see so much, you can get around so fast, you can, if you're in a bus, you're looking out a window, you can't get out and look at things. If you're on a walking tour, you can't see as much. If you've got crazy terrain, we did it in Lisbon, and the hills are going straight up. We got some looks from people who were walking up these horrible hills, and they were looking at us with envy in their eyes. They wish they were on a Segway. So again, I can't stress this enough that it's a great fun thing to do if you get a chance. It maximizes your thing. And I'm sure scooters are going to be the next thing, but I don't know that I would feel as comfortable and balanced on a scooter. You're not high up enough and stuff, so that's my little spiel. Anyway, I put Segways. Little people on Segways here. Can you see? Here's my long flowing dark hair, and really kind of hard to see that. And there's the hubby behind me, and there we are scooting along. We also, I didn't realize that we were scooting on the railing of the bridge, but I didn't know where else to put us. Alright, so that there probably, I don't know that that's probably not the Ponte Vecchio, because it has a bunch of buildings actually on the bridge. But you do here see, this is the dome of the cathedral, Brunelleschi's dome, and again, color-wise, when I think of Venice, I think of yellows and browns and umbers and like this. And I thought midway through maybe I should have done those kind of colors, but I do love these colors. And then there's the baptistry up here, and that's actually right across the plaza from this. And then there's the bell tower, which is right next to this. So it's not really geographically accurate. And then here's the Palazzo Vecchio, which is the town hall. So you've got all of those identifiable things, landmarks in here that represent there. So, all right. So that is City of Love. Let's see, what else do I have? Okay, so those are the things I've been working on the last couple of days. Next up, it is Jolly July. It is Christmas in July, and there is a hashtag summer stocking sale going on that the Tiny House Stitcher is doing. And so as part of that, I just happened upon this. I wasn't planning on doing it. I had other stuff picked out that I was going to be doing. And then I saw this. This is Christmas Carol Sampler by the Primitive Hare. I told you, you'd be surprised. It's a sampler. I don't do samplers. Now granted, the alphabet isn't on there. And there's some houses. I don't understand stitching all the houses all the time. but there's a few houses and they're blue, and blue's my favorite color. But I like the carriage, I like the horse. I've been looking forever for a Ebenezer Scrooge, one that I could call Ebenezer Scrooge, and I already have a Tiny Tim one that I showed in the last thing, and I love the lamppost, love little birds and stuff. I'm going to make the birds, they're brown, I'm going to make them red into cardinals, because I know it was the Industrial Revolution and all, and I know it was sooty and gray and dismal in London in 1843, but it's Christmas. It doesn't have to all be brown and black and blue. What else was I going to do differently? Oh, so what I'm going to do is, when I saw this, what grabbed my attention in the first place, aside from the fact that, oh, Ebenezer Scrooge, I need one of those. It's L-shaped, essentially. L-shaped. So I can make a stocking out of that. So what I'm going to do is, and stuff's kind of like randomly placed in here, so it's not like I'm going to have problems with changing the pattern around. So I'm going to move the lamppost over a little bit. You know, this is the carriage is going to be on the toe of the stocking. And then I'm going to move things around. God bless us, everyone. That's a Tiny Tim thing, so I'm going to change that. So that already is said on my Tiny Tim stocking. I'm going to have it say Bah Humbug somewhere in here. I'm going to keep the London thing. I might change the font on the Merry Christmas. Oh, actually, it's not going to say Merry Christmas. It's going to say Mr. Scrooge. I'm not going to do the border. Whoops, the border. So here's what I got so far. And, oh, you see it? Just took it out of the Q-snap. It's a little wobbly here. So you'll notice what I do is when I do stockings, particularly if I'm doing, I usually don't do this if it's a set stocking design, but when I'm kind of designing something and I want to know where the boundaries are, I will baste in. I have a little outline on tissue paper that I pin on here and just kind of baste around where the edges are, so I know I'm well within my range, and I know where things are gonna start moving in. So the toe comes out here. Darn, I wish it wouldn't fold up like that. And it might come in actually a little bit further, and then I'll run the lamppost up here, and then put the stuff across there. And over in the corner here, I probably will flesh out the house a little bit all the way into the heel. Other things I changed, I did change, you probably can't tell on here, but they had Tiny Tim, Ebenezer Scrooge, his face is 818, which is like a light pink, baby pink, but Tiny Tim's poor face was 30 or 80 or 38, 66, whatever the white is in here, and he looked ashen and pale. I know he's not well, but I did not think he needed to be have a deathly pallor on him, so I upgraded his hands and his face to pink because I felt sorry for him. And I think he's on the mend, isn't he? By the end of the story? I don't know. Alright, I used Anchor Black. I don't know if I mentioned that on the carriage. A little better coverage. I don't know. I don't have any real big gripes with DMC Black, but I know some people do. There's one of those birds on top I'm going to change to red. And this was my first go with Gentle Arts. So the big house over here is Gentle Arts, and then the shutters are also Gentle Arts. And I'm doing it where, you stitch the one stitch, both legs at one at a time. And, I don't know. It doesn't seem to be a huge variation. Everything else pretty much is DMC. But the bird and the brown and the roof, I didn't really get a whole lot of variation. I don't know that I would have done that over again, so I don't know if you need to do the Gentle Arts on that. And there was another kind of the stuff around here. I didn't use that at all. I didn't buy that because I figured I wasn't going to be using it. So the fabric, I found this kind of gold 14 count Aida. Like I said, Aida does gets the job done when you're doing stockings. And this is kind of a gold. I thought it was kind of pretty. I did try to tea dye some 14 count, yeah, it's 14 count tea and coffee dye it. And here's a pro tip. Take off those little paper tags off the tea bags before you dump them in there, because I got these little spots all over, ink spots all over. So, I mean, there's places where it isn't, and I might be able to salvage this for some other thing. But I don't know that I got a whole lot of, I baked it and everything too, and I know I probably didn't bake it long enough, but at that point I already knew I had the ink spot, so I kind of gave up on it. But yeah, this is fine. Does the job. Next up, speaking of angels, I got some Happy Mail. Not just Happy Mail. I got Royal Mail. I had gotten an email from a viewer named Julia, and she has commented on a number of my videos, and the last video I did was on Michael Powell, and she sent me a note and said, you know, I've got some Michael Powell designs that I would like to give to you, if you'd like them. If I would like them, of course I would like them. And I said, you know, I'd be more than happy to pay the postage. I'd be more than happy to send you in return some of mine. And she said, no, I've got enough stuff of my own to do, but I'd be willing to send these to you. And I was floored. I was stunned. And then, when I found out, when they arrived, that they came all the way from the UK, I was just flabbergasted, just astounded. I just couldn't believe the stitchy kindness. So thank you so much, Julia. It's such a, I can't even, I don't even have the words to say thank you enough. You know, it really, social media can be so discouraging and disheartening and be so damaging. And then something like this happens, and you hear people talk about it on Flosstube, and you think, oh, do people really send them stuff like that? And they do. They do. It just brings warmth to your heart. And the other thing is the internet, you know, for all the bad that it can do, a couple of years ago, or a few years ago, there's no way that Julia, in a little town of 3,500 people, halfway across the world, across the ocean, would even have known that I existed. And here we are, exchanging things, becoming, you know, friends through YouTube and email and all the wonderful things. And then she also sent me this lovely card. And this is a picture from a local photographer of her idyllic little part of England. Amazing, just amazing. All right, so thank you, Julia, very, very much. She sent me, start with this one. This is Chapel. This is about an 8x8 size one, and this is from Michael Powell. It's part of, there's Chapel, there's Pithead, and Fairy Castle that are part of the set here, but Chapel is the one that she sent me. This is very lovely. I would love to do that. This is one called Watermill, also about an 8x8 size. Very lovely. And this one, Mini Spanish Cottage 6, there's a Mini Spanish Cottage 5, and these are 5x5s. And I've got a couple of frames that I want to put these in, but they are not really a 5x5 frame. They're a little less than this, so I think if I do this on a 16 or a 32 count, I think this will fit just fine. So I'll be able to try that out, because I have the pattern now. Very exciting. And then she sent me, I'm just so delighted about this, Venice. You know how I feel about Venice, because I seem to have a Venice thing in pretty much every episode. Venice Window 1 and Venice Window 2. And I think these two side by side would look fantastic in an 11 by 14 frame. And there's 4 of these. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And this one is not like the others, because it's got a squared off thing. I mean, I probably could leave the squared off thing and it would be okay. This one is rounded, but it's got this thing on top, and I think they're all the same height. So I'd have to do a little maneuvering, a little bit of math, but I'm thinking of either doing 2 or maybe 3. I don't know if I would do all 4 of them on a single sheet, or maybe just put them, you know, together on a board, maybe not stitch them together, but display them together within a single frame. So that's exciting. I also wanted to mention about her, she also sent me a couple of pictures of things that she's been doing. Now, she said she made these Venice pictures for her sisters for her birthday about 10 years ago, and here are her versions of them done. Aren't they lovely? Can you see them? And then this is the other piece that she's working on. This is a Haid. It's called Silent Watcher. She's cropped out some of the gray to eliminate doing nothing but gray for 2 or 3 years. But I think it's lovely. I think the owls just pop off the page. They look so lifelike. It's really amazing. So I think she did the right decision by taking out some of the gray design around the sides and cropping that out. All right, so thank you to Julia for sending me those things, for sending me the examples of things, for being my friend. And but it got me thinking that there's a lot of people out here that think, I would never do a floss tube. I could never do a floss tube. You know what? You don't have to. Leave it to me. Send me your photo. My email is down below. I take this job very seriously. I always put, my email and my Instagram and all the links and the mentions and the names of the patterns and the designers and all that stuff. That's my job. I put that in the bottom. If you want to know about something, look in my comments. So I decided I am going to feature, if you want to send me a photo of your favorite thing, I'll feature that for you. So if you have never wanted to do it, until you find the courage yourself, maybe you'll get so excited about seeing it on the screen that you'll decide to start your own. But get your feet wet. Send it to me. I'll show it. All right, so and with the angel theme, be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. So by trying to entertain you, I have entertained you, angels. So that goes out to Julia and all of you who want to have your stuff featured. We have yet more happy mail, because back, insert the calendar pages flying off. How much time has elapsed since I purchased these? European Cross Stitch has a Black Friday sale in end of November every year. And end of November 2021, I ordered, drumroll, my first chatelaine. Not my first chatelaine, my first 3 chatelaines. I'm going to start out small. Mini Mystery 3. All the pretty stuff. All the, put some sunglasses on for this maybe, because the shiny is just going to get shinier. So this is a small one. I'm going to start out little. Learn all the specialty stitches. I've not stitched with Glorianas or silks or anything like that. And this was the hold-up, because the worldwide shortage on Glorianas finally broke. And so those of you who have ordered in that time frame, you should be getting your stuff soon. Peacock Tile. It's another beautiful one I've seen. Not a huge one, but very, very pretty and very, very heavily beaded. I went with the Glorianas. I didn't do full silks. I'll do the DMCs, but I didn't do the NPIs. I did the Glorianas. And then Venice Mandala. Isn't this cute? Got the little bow in their packaging and all the beautiful colors. This is just beautiful. But this is 23-inch wide round mandala. So this I'm scared. I know you shouldn't be. I know people say they love them. I'll work up the courage, trust me, it'll be alright. Right. One more piece of haul. I went to Goodwill. You see this right here? It's $9.99 in this bag. is 8 pounds. 8 pounds. That's why I'm making the faces of beads. Beads. Seed beads. Lots of different colors. I already sorted them out a little bit. So this is why you're seeing all the green. They're not just all green beads. But they're all... There's pounds and pounds of them. Here's a bunch of blue ones. Seed beads. Now, it is true that I told my husband I probably have enough beads. And then I saw a $10 bag, of 8-pound $10 bag of beads. Now I really do have enough beads. All right. Time to say some thank yous. So some people have shouted me out, and I appreciate that very much. We have Judy, the City Stitcher, very recently in her last video. She mentioned me. She will be in my playlist at the end. Anybody who shouts me out, I put you in my playlist. So if you liked watching me, you'll probably like watching them, and I want to make it easy for you to watch them, telling you how much they like watching me. Well, their whole video. It's not a whole video about them liking me, but you get the picture. And we may see Judy again, because Judy is doing something that will tie in with my next video about angels. I'll talk about that in a second. So Judy does some really beautiful things. She's done some Victoria samplers, some really pretty things. So I appreciate you, Judy. Thank you for calling or mentioning me. She's in Calgary, I believe. She's a Canadian stitcher. So a lot of fun to watch her as well. Another mention, Shelley, the Woolly Sheep Stitcher. She watched my Michael Powell video, and she likes a lot of Michael Powell. Hasn't done any Michael Powell yet. So hopefully that was enabling and encouraging, and hopefully she will decide to do some of those things as well. So thank you very much. You are also in that playlist at the end. And then, I feel so bad about this. I have a belated thank you to Debbie at Creatively Yours. I had no idea that months ago, probably like my first or second video in, or probably my second video, because I think I can attribute most of the views. I've got almost close to 4,000 views on my second video. It was Fancy Ladies. Now, Fancy Ladies are a thing apart. You know, it's funny because the analytics on YouTube show how people got there, and there's a disturbing number of people that searched for ladies in stockings. I think they were sorely disappointed when they realized that they were fancy ladies on Christmas stockings. But anyway, Debbie at Creatively Yours. She's huge. Everybody mentions Debbie at Creatively Yours. But when you're under 500 subs, you don't get the notifications when somebody tags you. So up until now, I didn't know. So she just mentioned on one of her videos. I just happened across it last night, I think it was. And so I have to thank her very much. So thank you, Debbie at Creatively Yours. She does some beautiful things. So be sure you check her out as well. So finally, I will just give you a little sneak peek about what part 2 of the angels might have to do with. And this is Garden Angel. It's part of the Marbeck series in Serendipity Designs, and Rebecca Waldrop is the designer. I decided I needed a stocking for myself. I have a stocking, but it's the first one I did, and I restitched it for one of the reindeer stockings that I did, and I need my own. And I think she's very pretty. I like the color blue that I think I've mentioned already tonight. So that's what she's going to be. She looks like she's kind of on a green fabric here. And I found this printed, really printed, I'll put the name in the Etsy shop down below, but this printed blue, I think it's a 36 count, I believe, with these gold stars on it. And here I basted in my stocking because she's not intended to be a stocking. I'm going to flip her because this looks more like the tip of a stocking, the toe of a stocking. This looks more like a heel, so I'm going to flip her. And I probably put a little different, not a pink rose, but something more red in there. And then she's going to be my Christmas stocking. So we'll be looking at more of the Marbeck Angels in another video, with probably some other stuff as well, whatever I'm working on. But that's kind of in my intent. Who knows if that's what I really will end up stitching on next, because I plan things and then something else swoops in. So anyway, that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Please comment, because I enjoy that so much and I try to get back to everybody. And you know, watch the people in the playlist, the shout outs, and I hope to see you again soon. So thank you very much for being here. Bye-bye. Happy stitching.